Hello, Dr. Sharon Lark, Lark Chiropractic. I've had a lot of patients talk to me recently about sleep. Sleep seems to be a really big issue. A lot of people have trouble falling asleep, staying asleep, being comfortable during sleep. So I thought I'd go over some different things that you can do to sleep more comfortably. I'm going to go over some sleep stretches. One of the problems is there's an expression I have, how you stay is how you stay. So if you're sitting all day and everything is always tight and bent, then when you go to sleep, if you don't move around a lot, you're going to be a lot stiffer and things are going to hurt. So we're going to go through some sleep stretches to kind of loosen things up, undo things that have been in a bad position all day. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move to the ground and show you some stretches. And there's a number of different areas of the body that we're going to work on, but legs and back are primarily what we need to have mobile. So I'm going to start I only have a few on the stomach, so I'm going to start on the stomach. A lot of problems are hips, low back, and such. So I'm going to start on low back. Start on my stomach. One of the things you can do is stretch up, and in stretching up like this, putting mobility in the lower back and the upper back. And you can also turn from side to side. We tend to be bent over a lot during work, so this is a great one. Now, while we're down here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this hip out, and when I turn this hip out, it's going to stretch the front. I'm going to do a stretch where you actually might get a little bit of a release in your back. If you do, that's fine. You're going to lean up and reach through. And this is going to stretch the lower back and the hip in the front. So now I'm going to go ahead and swap and go to the other side. Good. All right. So what we're going to do now is move on to the side. I don't know how many of you are side sleepers. If you are, a great thing is to have a towel that you put in the small part of your neck so it supports it. With the knees bent, your arms in front of you, you're going to take your arm, go and stretch across to the other side, and look at your arm while you do it. Most people have a lot of tightness in their shoulders, so if you can, think about relaxing your shoulder into the ground as you look over, palm up. And then we're going to go ahead, swap and do the other side. Here, reach and stretch over, looking at your hand. Whenever you stretch, you don't want to bounce or do things quickly. And you can hold this for as long as it feels comfortable, 5 to 10 seconds, maybe a little bit longer. You don't want to stay too long. Great. And then come back. Now we're going to move on to the back. And lower back and hips are usually problematic for most people. The front of the legs, rarely do we get enough stretch through here, but the lower back often gets strained and not moved a lot during the night. So if you have a rolled up towel or a foam roller, you can put it underneath your butt, grab behind your knee, and extend this leg. And think about pushing this area right here down. And you should feel it stretch here. If you don't feel it stretch, you can pull this leg up higher. This gets so tight sitting all day. I'm going to switch and do the other side. You can go back and forth and hold these. Again, think about pushing this down. Now next, what I'm going to do, I'm going to support my neck, and I'm going to bring my knee to my chest again. Most people don't have good hip flexibility. You can do both hips. This stretches out the lower back. And there's also a stretch in yoga called Happy Baby, and you'll see why it's called that. If you can, reach and grab the bottom of your feet. I know it seems like a difficult thing for some people, but it actually is a little bit easier than you would imagine. But if you pull in towards your bed or to your belly button into your back, you'll feel your lower back stretch. This is a really great stretch. You can't get any other way. Just feels really good. Again, pull the knees into the chest. If you want, you can let them drop to one side or the other. You notice me doing this on the floor, I have support. If you're on the edge of a bed, you might tighten up because you think you'll fall off, because it does feel kind of risky. So if you're going to do it in your bed, you want to go in the center of your bed. One more time. What also is really good is stretching the legs out and get the back of the legs. And lastly, we're going to open up these hips. And there's a couple of variations on doing the hips. You want to put your feet wide apart, and you want to bring your hips down to the bed or the floor. If your low back is really tight, you'll have a tendency to lift it up like this, which is okay because you are still stretching tight areas. But what you want to do is think about or focus doing it a second way, where you really keep the hip down and you're internally and externally rotating the leg into the hip joint. We get a lot of stiffness in our hips as we get older. So you want to make sure that you keep the back down as you rotate back and forth. You can also stretch out this way and try and push down. If your knees bother you, it might be a little difficult to have them both come in. If you are able to do that, that's great. I don't have good knees, so we'll only go so far. But I always try and focus on keeping my back and my hips down, so that I put rotation into my hips. So this whole routine only has to take a couple minutes. As soon as you get in bed, pull the knees up, stretch the legs out, do the knees in like this. These three alone, if you're short for time, just making sure you're stretching, opening everything up before you go to bed will help a lot. One of the things that's important is consistency in doing your stretches. So you want to make sure that you make it a routine where you're doing it every night. So you'll want to make it a habit that each night you get up, you're doing, or each night before you go to bed, you climb in bed and stretch each night. You'll sleep better. You'll wake up less stiff. If you happen to wake up in the morning and you're stiff, you can do these stretches again before you get out of bed. If you wake up in the middle of the night and you're hurting, you can get up, put ice on, you can do the stretches again, because if you're laying there tired, not able to sleep because you're hurt, you might as well stretch again. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos in the future. And if you have any questions about anything I've gone over, please leave them in the comments. We love to hear from you.